The following is a special presentation of Tony Kurre Radio.
Welcome back to another Home Field Advantage. You can find the show wherever you get your favorite podcast. We are consistently listened to in the top 10% of all podcasts in the entire country.
I'm so excited
I know. I know. We started this thing about 4 years ago. We're up to 19 shows, 18, 19
shows or something by now.
Yeah, we got over 1,500 shows, and of course, I'm on a lot of those, and you are now on a lot of those shows because this show's been going now for a few months. Teresa's with Keller Williams. Her number is 294-4210, 294-4210. I was in a home for 17, 18 years, went through the divorce, blah, 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 blah. I'm renting a house and I'm going to buy another house. And Teresa's going to be the woman I'm going to call first when I want to go find a house because I already got a little area picked out. And we'll go through that whole process. So if you want to know what the process is like, we'll walk you through it. And of course, if you have any questions, info@TonyCurreRadio.net, info@TonyCurreRadio.net. We always get some interesting email questions, and we have a couple more we'll get into here during the show. Before we do that, though,
I love those email questions.
I know, right? And there's some pretty, well, you want me to throw one out real quick and then we'll do some numbers?
Yes. Let's start the show that way. I love surprise me shots.
Yeah, Dale in Trustville wanted to know how the housing market and the stock market line up with each other when it comes to confidence levels. Donald Trump, like him or love him, hate him, whatever it is, he's been pretty chaotic since he took the White House, and everyone knew he was going to be like that, but the market's been down now, even onto a point where it's almost in a correction level. And obviously that comes with a lot of confidence level. We know he's a stock market guy. It'll go back up again. But a lot of people see that and it just kind of makes everyone just kind of be paralyzed. They don't want to move. Does the housing market play in that same way when it comes to confidence level in this country?
Well, this is what I tell people, and I hope they can understand. It's a little bit of short-term pain for long-term gain.
There you go.
I think I've said in previous shows, real estate and steel traditionally run side by side. And now that the steel industry is coming back into America due to the tariffs, that is going to make us explode. And we're going to explode because of 4 reasons. Number one, the steel industry is going to be here. And because the tariffs would be more expensive overseas, we're going to have shorter time frames waiting for products. He's also going to allow some forestry land for us to not only take the trees and use those, but to revitalize that into more trees. So it's not like we're going to rob the forest and leave it destitute. No, we're going to replant.
Yeah.
And you'll see in places like Hawaii, a lot of tropical places, turn over their dole plantations or their coffee plantations every 7 years. To do something else with it, to revitalize the soil, to make it better. And right now, interest rates came down a little bit. We saw that, another 0.5 point, and it's called 0.50 basis, which is good. But the other thing is, when you invite and you have people, I think he's had almost $1.4 trillion between the tech industry and the steel industry and the AI industry agreed to come to America. Mm-hmm. Where are those people going to live?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying. So we have to think about this long term. Yes, it might take, but remember, stocks are not, let's get it today, get out today. They are long term. And my son's way better at this than I am. Long term investments. Mm-hmm. So if something dips today, it very may well dip because it could be anything.
Yeah.
We were talking about earlier how J.D. Vance had went and testified to loosen up the zoning. Because think about it, if you're taking raw land and it's taking you 2 years to get through zoning and planning and all this, you're eating up all the interest money that the people are trying to buy the land with. So you're eating into profit. So that's going to cost the public more. Let's loosen those strings up. So doing that, all the influx is going to put back into the American economy because the people got to live somewhere. And guess what? These people are going to have children, husbands or wives. They're going to need to eat. They're going to need to drive something. Mm-hmm. I don't know. We might get our horse and buggy back out. But I mean, I noticed that I hadn't seen it with eggs, but I have noticed gas come down about 20%.
Eggs are coming down. Eggs are coming down too. Yeah, they're coming down. I mean,
I saw them come down a little bit, but
we freak out. But of course, if you own a bakery shop, I mean, I'm my thoughts and prayers good for you. I don't go through about an egg when I make a batch of brownies. That's about the only time I do. You buy low, you sell high, and I would say that anybody's in the stock market, we know that this thing is going to go back up. We know how it performed.
If I had any money right now, if I just had a big days of money, I would be buying everything I could buy right now. Holding it because give it 6 months, give it 9 months, and give it 18 months. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you, it's going to be off. And that's what I wanted to, that leads me actually into our January report.
Yeah, let's do it.
Our first quarter. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about the Alabama economic and real estate projects and what's actually happened this year so far. These are real numbers that have just been released from the Alabama Economic and Real Estate Report. It's released every quarter. It was released on March 6th, so it's not like we're months away from it. Mm-hmm. But the home sales to date are 5,259.
Okay.
So you want to say, well, what's that in comparison to? That's actually up 4.6% in last month.
Last month, okay.
Up 9.9% since last year.
Okay, that's a big jump.
Yeah. Let's talk about volume. In the state, total sales volume this year so far has been $1.27 billion in real estate.
Okay.
In Alabama, that's up 5.8% from last month. And it's actually, this is insane. I had to look at this number twice. 19.8% from last year.
Wow. So the price of homes
that is huge.
Yeah.
You're saying San Francisco's not even going at that rate right now. New York is, but that's really huge.
Why is it? Why is that? Why is that? Do you know? Why is
because of the automotive industry, because of the hospital industries here, because of the price per people to live, just because, look at all of the manufacturing that's been so easily accessible to the state. I know of maybe 6 manufacturers that's come here over the last 6 months alone.
Yeah.
And when all of them start, 2,000 employees go to work there, they got to live somewhere,
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's get to the medium on houses because people always talk about this number here. What's the average price sale? Well, today it's $233,000, but on the date of this report, and let's go back, it was March 6th, was $219,936, which was down 0.1% from last month, but it was up 4.2% from last year.
Okay. So
so as you see, the numbers are going up. They're not going down overall, but it kind of like it compares to the stock market. It might have went down a little bit for a month, but it went up.
As a person that's not into real estate like you are, when you see those numbers, that sounds like we're heading in a good direction. No?
We're very stable right now. I don't think we're sky out of the high. I don't think we're about to drop off the edge. I think we are very stable and sustainable right now.
Yeah.
I think you're still going to be able to get a better, if you go to the outlining area, and this is what the report, the article from the other show we did, if you go to the outlying areas where you get down to these, say, Leeds, Trussville, Irondale, or you're out into the Woodstock, McCalla, Hanceville, down past Calera, South Calera, where you're at Jemison and Thorsby, Clanton, you're going to get more house for your money, but you're also going to, you're going to have a drive on your hands. Yeah. So with that being said, Chelsea, as we talked about earlier, you wherever you're at, it's going to depend on what lifestyle you're trying to live. If you want to be closer into the city, I feel like Birmingham has got literally something for everybody. I truly feel that way, whether you want to be downtown Forest Park, because that was on the list of for the up and coming millennials, because so many people go to UAB, and just like in Homewood, we were talking earlier, you've got the $1 million condos, you can walk everywhere, you don't really need a car, but you have a car anyway. So it's kind of like Forest Park, Avondale, Birmingham, and then of course as you branch out toward the Homewood and other places, you get to be more diversified.
There you go. Info at TonyCurryRadio.net. Info at TonyCurryRadio.net. If you got some email questions, Glenn, another one, Trussville, said that he's got a buddy of his that owned a tract of land out in Childersburg and recently found out that there's oil on his land.
I love mineral rights.
Yeah, he wants to know about mineral rights. He wants to know, and I've got a friend of mine who dude couldn't hit the broadside of a barn with a rock. I mean, the guy just does not have good luck, right? And about 3 or 4 years ago, he was broke, living in his car, and all of a sudden he gets his phone call from this attorney, and his uncle had left him some land. I forget where it was at, and someone did some drilling and they wanted to write him a check for $70,000. And I said, did you say, hold on, let me see if there's more. But he took that 70 grand. It was worth probably millions and millions of dollars. But mineral rights, how do you find out if you have oil on your land? Is it something where someone, if you've got 20 acres of land out in Childersburg, how do you know?
Well, I can tell you that I know this personally from 2 different situations. My little sister bought some land right off of Petals from the Past in Jemison off of exit 219. And she had a beautiful house, wraparound porch, just beautiful. And someone came to her and said, we want to buy your mineral rights. And she's like, I don't know. Let me talk to my sister. And this was 20 years ago. And I said, if you have air rights, you have water rights, you have mineral rights, you have oil rights, you have all those. Just like what Trump is doing over with the Zelensky over there at the Ukraine.
Yeah.
They've got minerals that they're top heavy in that we could use. Let's make a deal. Well, that's the same thing. She could have lived on the property as long as they were allowed to access those rights. I'll give you 2 TV shows or movies that will land this home with you. Burlesque. In the movie Burlesque with Cher and Christina Aguilera, they didn't want to build anything because of the skyline. She had air rights. Yeah. So he was going to buy the air rights because then nobody could build a condo there and he would have that beautiful view. Okay, perfect. That's a perfect example of air rights. Now let's talk about Taylor Sheridan, my new little best friend, because he evidently created this show called Landman. Yeah. And it's about the oil fields. Okay, so everybody's looking for oil now. I'm like, oh, God.
Yeah.
So it's so good to me because we never know. We have a lot of gold in America that's untapped. I mean, people are just kind of generally unknowledgeable or lazy, or they're in fear. And I cannot tell you how many people, you better watch out before you do this. What the hell is it going to hurt?
Yeah.
They're going to dig something in your backyard. If it ain't there, then they're going to put it back and move on. Yeah. But Hillbillies said, wasn't it the Beverly Hillbillies or something? They struck oil and get you some oil, Grandma.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you, but to me, I've always found it so funny because they're either very closed-minded or they're very open-minded. There's really no middle of the road.
Hold on, back up a little bit. So I've got 30 acres of land and it's nothing on it. Is it? What would it cost me to go find out if I've got any minerals on it? Is that a costly situation, or are there other people that have already done LIDAR on my land and already know there's some stuff?
Oh, no. Well, I will be honest with you. Sometimes, if there's an industry that is coming into an area, they will go and do some research, like the coal mines. Yeah. You don't see coal mines in Chelsea.
But if someone wants to buy mineral rights in your land, there's a damn good chance there's something on it, right? I mean, they're not buying mineral rights if there's nothing on it. Not
necessarily, but they buy the right to see. Yeah. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm going to come out there and I am doing this right now on 2 pieces of property. We call them geotech reports. And some can be very expensive because you get real engineers, people with license, not Buddy Joe from the tractor farm. Get his backhoe out there
with his 2 wires.
You get people like surveyors and civil engineers and structure engineers. Because the last thing you want to do is be dynamiting something and blow up somebody else's house.
Yeah.
But a lot of people will look, if they know, you can go to your courthouse. You can look some of it up online and just see what minerals might be in your area. Okay. And then if there's none known, because a lot of times this is what we say. When I had a situation about 25 years ago where we dug up and there were some human bones on this property. They shut us down for 18 months to find out whether it was Indian burial ground.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
18 months. And so you're paying interest. You're dead in the water. You're bankrupt at that point because there's just no holding on for dear life.
Gotcha.
So we go clear across the country, and there's mine shafts. And so we're over there, and the guy said, "Oh, I dug up something." I looked over, and the surveyor said, "Cover it back up. We don't have time for the Indian burial people." And so when you do something like that, you realize that time is money.
Yeah.
But I did fall in a mine shaft over there, by the way.
Nice.
And they came over and got me out. And I was like, well,
that does not surprise me. That does not surprise me.
But also, there was a place in Columbiana that's got quicksand. So it's not all good stuff that you're going to find.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't want the rights. You don't want the rights to quicksand. No. Tammy in Northport wants to know. She's heard something about Florida has ADUs, accessory dwelling units that they're wanting to build, also known as Grannie Flats, to make up for some of their housing issues. Do you know what she's talking?
I think something's wrong. Repeat that again. Something blurred out.
Yeah,
I don't know what happened, but just repeat that again.
You just froze up. Tammy wants to know about ADUs, accessory dwelling units, also known as Grannie Flats, down in Florida. She wants to know what are those, and she said they're building those in order to also make up for the shortfall of housing in the state of Florida. Looks like everyone's wanting to move inward, obviously, for a lot of reasons. But what are Grannie Flats?
Well, number one, we don't use that terminology.
Okay. All right.
No, I love Grannie Flats. I've never heard them called that, but it's like when you have a senior citizen community, everything's one level.
Yeah. Okay.
Everything's wheelchair accessible. Everything's got the cords in them or the help buttons. Yeah. We actually have two in the Birmingham area. Okay. And they're reserved for people, number one, that's 55 and over, but you have different stages of them. So say if you go in there I'm guessing you're about 50. So you go in there as a robust 50-year-old man, 55-year-old man, and you're out playing tennis, walking your dog, doing that. What is that thing you like to do? The ball thing that you play with, pickleball.
Pickleball, yeah.
So you're all out there, but then something happens. I don't know. All of a sudden, you're 75, you have a stroke. Yeah. Well, you go to a different section that's assisted living, where they have, like cords that you pull if you, get caught in a bad position. Mm-hmm. You have people that might come and assist you to area. Your grandchildren can't stay for weeks and months at a time. You're limited to visitors, to cars parked in certain areas. It's very protected for the 55 and older community. And you can start out there in 55 and then graduate up into the and more actual assisted living facilities toward the end. And then your family can be reverted back the money that you initially input, or they can sell your unit spot to the next person in line.
There you go. Jan wants to know what's going on with the affordable housing projects we have in this country because of DOGE. Everything's been cut out. A lot of people are saying they're throwing the baby out with the baby water or the bath water. And is this affecting any of our affordable housing projects with what Elon Musk is doing right now?
I don't think so, because I want to be polite when I say this.
Mm-hmm. It's Tony Kurre Radio. You can say whatever you want.
Anyone's been to a government agency in the last 10 years?
Yeah.
There's been more inefficiency than there is efficiency. So there takes 6 employees to help you with one item. That's not efficiency. Yeah. You need to know. You need to know how to do your job, and you need to be there for the American public in order to get the job done. So with all that being said, it's just like the people in California, and I'll place this gently. I don't need a permit to take me 18 months to get. My house has burned down. I've got to have somewhere to live. Yeah. I don't have the money. What am I going to sell to move somewhere else? The insurance companies don't always pay 100%, and God only knows what they do pay is not going to get you what you got. Yeah. So with that being said, a lot of these programs were invented, and they are, and I'm going to say this as nice as I can, the government was so top heavy. If you look at America as a corporation, which it is too top heavy. It is like GM and Ford was in the late 90s, early 2000s. Chop off the fat. I call it, my ex-fiance he had like 17 companies, very, very rich. He called it Fat Cutting Fridays. Mm-hmm. It was like, where can we trim fat at? Well, I don't need 6 people to answer one question. One question should be answered by 1, maybe 2 people. But if I got to go there and 6 people got to help me, we have a problem. Yeah. I don't need nepotism. If you've never had an interest in the world in real estate, then you know what? I bet you don't know a damn thing about a survey and how a parcel of land lays out. Yeah. So when I come in to ask you, does this survey go with this parcel? You're going to be babe in the headlight anyway. So I think, and this is what my hopes are for America, is that we get the people who have the aspirations to do their jobs and the inspiration to do their jobs. You know, I had a very good friend at Compass BBVA, and he said he fell into finance. He said, I just sat around and fell in it, and I love it. Yeah. Well, I kind of fell into real estate. My first job was at a probate office learning about taxes and deeds and probates and reading 1800-old deeds that were wrote in script writing. I didn't know that at the time, but that was going to be the foundation of my 3-decade career.
How about that?
I love it so much.
Yeah. How
could I not go into real estate at this point, you know?
Yeah.
So, and I was looking at the law. I feel like, in my opinion, ultimately, he's going to trim enough fat to put the programs into place where they're actually helping the people on the street and not the people above them get a tenured salary.
Great stuff.
Retirement plan.
Great stuff. Home field advantage. You can hear the show 5 days a week right here on TKR on Apple or Google. Just go ahead and find that bad boy, download it, be along with 100,000 folks of other folks. You can call Teresa anytime, Keller Williams, 294-4210, no matter where she goes. She is great at answering the phone, and if she doesn't answer the phone, text her. I promise you, she'll text you back. She's a texter, 294-4210, 294-4210 at Keller Williams. Teresa Autrey with Home Field Advantage. Thank you, my love. We will talk next week.
Adios.
This has been a special presentation of Tony Kurre Radio.